Welcome everyone to Cracking the Black Box, a micro-learning series focused on demystifying the AWS Partner Network, one foundational question at a time. And today we're starting with the most fundamental question, yet also maybe the most impactful one, which is the question of why. Why partner with AWS? Yeah, after all, maybe you're a technology company, you're evaluating the AWS Partner Network, but before you invest too much time and energy, you want to understand the why. What's in it for you? What outcomes does this partnership unlock? And how does partnering with AWS help you move bigger, faster, stronger than going alone? Great question. Glad you asked, but quick introduction before we dive in. I am Justin Freeman, founder of PartnerCloud, a consultancy built to help partners accelerate their AWS journey and get real value out of this ecosystem. And before launching PartnerCloud, I spent the last 3 years at AWS as a partner development specialist. And my job then, my job now is to be able to answer this exact question, this question of why. And to best understand why you should partner with AWS, I think the most helpful framing is to put yourself in the other person's shoes. If you're a technology company, think about why AWS wants this program to exist in the first place. What problem and pain point does it solve for? Because AWS didn't build the partner network as a nice to have. It exists because AWS relies on partners to scale. AWS has millions of active customer accounts. They've got operations all over the world. There's tens of thousands of sellers and specialists that cover accounts globally. But cloud services, we're talking, EC2, S3, Lambda, SageMaker, Bedrock, they're not turnkey business solutions. Customers need experts who can design and deploy and integrate and migrate and do all the things to get these services up and running to solve real world business outcomes. That's what partners do. In other words, partners are AWS's global distribution engine. And AWS invests heavily to make sure partners are successful because partner success directly increases customer adoption of AWS services. When you win business as a partner, AWS wins too. That's more EC2, that's more S3, that's more RDS, more Bedrock. Whether you're deploying solutions into customer accounts or selling software that's hosted on AWS, either way, you're contributing to AWS service consumption. And that's why AWS has built an entire incentive framework around partner success. So let's break down the top 5 reasons why companies choose to partner with AWS. We'll get to all 5 of these. Let's start first and foremost with visibility and access. AWS has one of the largest commercial footprints in the world. That's millions of customers, that's thousands of field sellers. And when you join the APN and you engage properly, and that part's key, the entire ecosystem becomes your expanded addressable market. And now let me be clear and caveat this. You won't instantly get access to every AWS customer or contact at each customer account, or you won't get to sell into every account you ever possibly dreamed of, but you do get structured paths into accounts that's powered by proven co-sell motions and validated partner plays. And when you do it well, this dramatically increases your visibility to AWS sellers and customers alike. I tell clients all the time, think about your visibility inside of AWS to those field sales teams a lot like search engine optimization. There's a lot of tips and tricks and hacks into the program that allow you to rank higher and become more visible to that group of potential customers. And think of it like listing a product on Amazon.com. Your reach multiplies overnight. The APN does the same thing for technology partners. Next up is differentiation. There's over 140,000 active AWS partners worldwide, so differentiation really matters. How do we sort out one partner from another? And that's where AWS specializations, which include competencies, service delivery, service ready, those are fantastic ways that AWS's partner network has chosen to differentiate partners with different types of skill sets. I personally helped launch the ECS service delivery program and the generative AI competency program. And these programs require partners to meet rigorous technical bar raising. AWS has a notoriously high bar for technical validation. And included in that, the partner must also produce validated customer case studies, have to demonstrate repeatable excellence. All of these things are needed to be able to earn that badge and earn that designation. And so in return, AWS backs those validated partners, boosts their visibility, and also adds MDF, that's marketing development funds, so that those partners can better sell their solution out in the field. So specializations, they span both technology and industries. Think of that as like horizontals and verticals. So you have your horizontals, such as ECS service delivery is a containerization service. You have it a bit more broad at like a family level with the generative AI competency, but then you have vertical competencies as well, such as retail, financial services, manufacturing, healthcare, auto, and so on. Number 3 is funding. AWS understands that partners are investing their time and their talent and their dollars to build on AWS. And so AWS is more than willing to invest back. After all, you're solving their pain point. So they build dozens of different sort of buckets of money. Think of this as MDF, that's marketing development funds, where they will give you basically a 50% share back into your marketing costs to help offset costs associated with drawing more attention to the solution that you've built on AWS. There's Sandbox and POC credits. These are great for testing and building out new solutions and continuing to innovate. There's the MAP program, which is tied to helping get workloads off of on-prem locations and putting them into the cloud. There's a lot of different funding and incentive programs because AWS does a great job of building out an ecosystem that invests where it has its own strategic priorities. So right now, generative AI, modernization, and industry-specific solutions are really high on sort of the S-Team priority list at AWS, and they fund programs accordingly. For example, the generative AI competency has 5 times more MDF than most other competencies. AWS is signaling to partners like where it wants them to skate so that they can get to that puck. Number 4 is enablement. To me, this is the most underutilized reason why partners should consider joining the AWS Partner Network. You know, AWS really wants their partners to win. They want them to be incredibly smart. They want them to have technical depth. They want them to have architectural best practices. They want them to have strong sales plays. And they build a lot of technology around making sure that those enablement best practices are pushed out to partners. That includes Skill Builder, AWS training and certification, APN Navigate tracks, etc. And again, this is just so underutilized because we think of co-sell, we think of funding as primary reasons to join the APN, but the enablement can really solve a lot of growing pains that partners face. You know, AWS has billions invested in learning infrastructure. You don't have to reinvent what AWS has already learned through years of trial and error. Number 5 is co-sell. And yes, this is the big one. This is the obvious one. Co-sell is the long-term prize that all partners chase. They want the joint positioning. They want the joint customer engagements, the joint execution with AWS sellers. And the dream is to have AWS bringing you deals, or at least bring you into deals, but co-sell is an earned outcome. For most partners, it's not day one. It's the product of consistent program engagement, earning those specializations, building trust with the field. And the good news is that there's many kind of what I call micro co-sell paths along the way. That's marketplace private offers, sharing visibility through your ACE pipeline, partner-led opportunities, and then also, of course, organic customer pull-through. So co-sell today isn't just manually calling account managers, it's tapping into AWS's digital flywheel and getting those micro deals along the way. So let's talk about the vision from AWS leadership. AWS CEO Matt Garman has been extremely clear. Every opportunity should have a partner attached. Ruba Borno, the AWS VP of Specialist and Partner Organization, has reiterated that same message as well. Partners are now central to AWS's growth strategy. The puck is moving toward more partner involvement, not less. So partners who lean in now are going to be the ones who benefit the most. So this is why partnering with AWS is so powerful. The opportunity is large, the programs are mature, the ecosystem is only getting stronger. So if this is interesting to you, we'll continue exploring topics in this Cracking the Black Box series. And if you're a technology company looking for a guide, PartnerCloud would love to help accelerate your AWS partner journey. Reach out to me, Justin Freeman, info@partnercloud.ai, or visit partnercloud.ai. Thanks for joining, y'all. More episodes are coming soon. We'll see you next time.